Good morning, 5th grade math students. My name is Mr. Mace, and I am your 5th grade math teacher. You have been in school for about 2.5 weeks at this point, but now you are starting your first lesson in math. And unfortunately, I wish I could be the bearer of good news, but we as 5th grade math teachers are not really nice to our 5th graders right out of the gate. We are teaching you about fractions, which tends to be one of the hardest 1 or 2 lessons or units that we cover for the entire year. So we will do our best to try to make this as painless as possible, but we're really going to rely on you guys to ask a lot of questions. We're going to rely on you guys to make sure you're keeping up with your homework and checking in with us as often as is available. Okay? So, fractions causes a lot of 5th graders nightmares over the course of their 5th grade year. I know that for a fact. I've got 2 kids who've both gone through 5th grade, and it was one of their least favorite units in 5th grade math all the way through. So I will do my best, like I said, to make it painless for you. As you look at this screen here right now, you see a gentleman with some big bulgy eyes. You will get to know him because he appears quite often in our math series. His name is Puzzled Penguin. Please make sure you understand and identify that Puzzled Penguin is making mistakes. He's puzzled for a reason. So the title of this lesson says, "What's the error?" Okay, he is making mistakes. Don't take what he does and think that that is what should happen. So we are showing you common mistakes made by 5th graders when dealing with fractions. So here is our first question. Dear math students, my friends and I each have 1/3 of a pie. I told my friend that if we combined our thirds, we would have 2/6 of a pie. My friend said that I was wrong. Can you please help me understand my mistake? Your friend, Puzzled Penguin. Now, I'm not going to expect you to respond. I'm not going to put a big question in there and have you type a whole long essay out. But we are going to discuss what he did wrong. So before I do that, I want you to think just for a second here. We know it's wrong, so as we see it here, we can see that we clearly are not just going to add the numbers straight across. That doesn't work that way. All right, you can see that 1 + 1 is 2 and 3 + 3 is 6. We know that, but we're saying, and Puzzled Penguin's friend is telling him that he did it wrong. So the first rule about fractions that I want to share with you guys is that, yes, we must have a common denominator. Okay, we have to have this number on the bottom, which is our denominator, has to be the same. It has to be common. We cannot add these fractions until they are the same. And that's good because these are there. But then once they are the same, we don't change it again. So it's going to stay thirds. All right, it's going to stay the same. And the reason we have to have that common denominator, 5th graders, is that imagine I were trying to combine apples and oranges. And somebody said, hey, if I gave you 5 apples and I gave you 4 oranges, you now have 5 apple oranges. No, they don't combine, they don't mix together. I could maybe say that I have 9 fruit, but I can't say that I've got 5 apples and oranges combined, anything along those lines. There is no way to combine those 2 different units of measurement, categories, however you want to phrase the denominator. All right? So once it is the same, it's going to stay the same. Okay, that will obviously get more challenging as we progress through because you will have questions put in front of you where the denominator is not the same to start and we must change it to be so. Okay, the numerator is a different story. That is as simple as it looks. When you see a 1 + a 1, that will be a 2. Okay. So the answer, instead of what Puzzled Penguin said of 2/6, should be an answer of 2/3. All right? Now, here is the picture of why that is. Here is the pie that he and his friend are sharing. I'm going to make these pie pieces as equal as I possibly can. So he is saying that he ate 1/3 of the pie. His friend ate 1/3 of the pie. So when I do this, I don't see 6 pieces. I don't see, because again, the denominator talks about how many pieces of pie, how many pieces the pie is broken up into. I still only see 3 pieces. We did not cut more pieces out of it. We didn't make it into 6. We just said that one of the people ate 1/3 and the other person ate the other third. And so we are now at 2/3 of the pie that are gone. All right? So hopefully that makes sense to you. We do not change the denominator when we are adding fractions. We just add the numerator together. We also cannot add the fractions if the denominator is different until we make the denominator the same. So here's the second common mistake made by fifth graders in fractions. Puzzle Penguin again, he's having a rough day. Dear math students, I told my teacher that since 3 is less than 4, then 1/3 has to be less than 1/4. My teacher said that I was not correct. Can you explain to me why? So again, this is one of those things about fractions that doesn't make sense. When we looked at the 1/3 plus 1/3, it seems obvious. I should add straight across. 1 plus 1 is 2, 3 plus 3 is 6, but that's not how it works. So this is another one that kind of goes against our normal number line, goes against our normal numbers teaching. The way I try to teach my fifth graders to look at this as we move forward is the closer to the two numbers are, the larger the fraction. Now, it doesn't always work that way because depending on the size of the numbers you're using and all those kinds of things, but that's especially in this instance where we're dealing with the 1 on the numerator being the same, which two numbers are closer together, 1 to 3 or 1 to 4? Okay, 1 to 3 is only 2 numbers apart. 1 to 4 is 3 numbers apart. So in this case, again, obviously if less than is not true, then it has to be greater than. Okay, so obviously we know the answer needs to be the opposite, but why is that the case? And we want to understand the why much more than we want to understand the how or the answer. Okay, so here again is the image. If I draw as close as I can, I want to make these equal bars. I'm going to make these bars versus pies just because they're a little easier to draw the pictures for me. So if I draw my fourths, that's a nice easy one. I just divide those things into quarters. Here I'm going to divide it by thirds. All right. So Puzzle Penguin thinks that 1/3 would be smaller than 1/4, but as we shade in the actual picture here, here's my 1/4 shaded in, 1 out of 4 pieces, and here is my 1/3 shaded in, and you can see that I've made these as equal as I can, and you can see that if I were to compare these two, that the 1/3 appears to cover more of the bar than 1/4 does. And that's again the proof of what we're talking about here. But when I don't want you to draw pictures for every single problem all the way through, we need to start looking at the number aspect of it. So 1/3, 1 of 3 is closer to a whole than 1 of 4 is. Okay, so just kind of a very quick way to look at that. Now, we said we're starting out really basic, skipping over a bunch of slides here. We're going to get to some story problems. And again, guys, the math for today is not difficult. It's more about conceptual ideas. So I want to look at story problem number 3 here. It says Garrett is reading a book for his history class. He has read 3/8 so far. If he reads 2/8 of the book today, how much of the book will he have finished by the end of the day? So our problem, again, we're looking to combine. We're looking to add these two things together. So we are taking the 3/8 of the book he's already read, and we are going to combine that or add that together to the 2/8 he's going to read today. We're putting those two things together. We're not looking for the difference. We're not looking for how much apart they are. We're combining the two. The one positive is we do see that the denominator is already the same, but we already know from what Puzzle Penguin told us that that can't be a denominator of 16 then, but that denominator stays 8 pieces. We broke that book into 8 pieces, and here is the bar that shows us eighths right here. So we are identifying the bar down there as that book. Now I like to shade things in. It says in the directions that we should circle the parts of the fraction bar. I like to shade things in. I think it's more visual, harder to see circles and where they're going. So he has read 1, 2, 3 parts of the book so far. Now I'm going to change colors just to give us even more of a visual look here. Now today he's going to read 2/8. So I'm simply going to show that he is reading 2 more eighths. All right, and change colors one last time just again for effect, and get us to see that here is our problem, 3/8 of this bar plus the 2/8 of the bar that he has here gets us to a total of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 pieces. So our answer is, by the end of the day, he will have read 5/8 of this book. All right, does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense to you. Now that's one aspect of it. That is the adding. The positive is that subtracting is the exact same thing, only making the number smaller, and we need to now identify, are we adding or are we subtracting? So as we look at number 2, we can see again that in a survey, 3 of 10 students chose Friday, and 5 of 10 students chose Saturday as their favorite day of the week. So what fraction of students chose Friday or Saturday as their favorite day? So at this point, again, not really an indicator whether we're adding or subtracting, but we need to think logically. The question is the important part of a story problem. What fraction of the students chose Friday or Saturday? Okay, the combination, both those two things need to be combined together to find the total amount of students or the total fraction of students who chose that as their favorite day. All right, so we again are going to be combining. So I'm going to use the red for the ones we have already, or in this case the 3. So we got 3 out of the 10 that chose Friday. We've got 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 out of the 10 for Saturday. So our problem, as we would arrange this out here, would be 3/10 plus 5/10. And again, we know already, or we should know, that our answer is going to have a 10 in the denominator spot because we don't change that denominator once it is the same. And we're simply saying, what is 5 plus 3? Pretty easy problem again. 5 plus 3 is 8/10 of the students thought that Friday or Saturday was their favorite day. All right? Now the change comes in problem 5, where it asks us or tells us the question, how far does he have left to walk? So now we're looking for a remainder. We're looking for what's left over. And a leftover is automatically, in my mind, a subtraction problem. Or if it says the difference, what is the difference between this and this? We're looking for the gap between the two of them, the middle section. So how far does he have left to walk after he's done? This is a subtraction problem. Okay? This is a subtraction problem. So Frankie is walking to school. The total distance is 5/6. So now I am going to circle instead of fill in, just because I think it's easier for me to represent the difference between the two now. So this is, the circle is going to be the total distance he would need to walk to get to school, 5/6 of a mile. The whole bar obviously is 1 mile, 6/6 of a mile. So he needs to walk that whole bar. To this point, he has walked, and again, I'll change colors just for a little bit more visual effect and to separate them out. To this point, it is said he has walked 3/6. 1, 2, and 3 he has walked. And now our answer will be what is left over, 1/6 and 2/6. Okay? So again, this problem, if I were looking at it in terms of the actual writing out of the problem and what it would look like, this will get me to 5/6 total. Let me erase that. Let me put it off to the side here. 5/6 of the total. Okay. He has already walked 3/6 of the way. The 6 is going to stay the same. We want to keep that denominator the same. And now this becomes 5. Take away the 3/6 he's already walked, and he has to walk 2/6 of a mile. Okay, not miles, mile. All right, last little piece here, and then I'm going to let you try to solve that one on your own, and we can try to talk about that when we come back. It says Margot bought a loaf of bread. She uses 2/5 of the loaf for peanut butter sandwiches and 2/5 of the loaf for ham sandwiches. How much of the loaf did she use? So again, this is another one where we're going to combine the total of those two fractions. We're putting them together. Not how much is left, not how much of the loaf is left to use, but how much did she use total, meaning those two numbers combined. So again, I'm going to let you guys think about that one. I'm going to let you try to solve it. And then I will give you the answer and a small little short little video at the end of this.